in targeting immigrants. All of us here are afraid. We're afraid for ourselves. We're afraid for our immigrant friends. We're afraid for our neighbors and our colleagues. We fear that coworkers who we depend on to get the job done might be impacted by a senseless immigration raid. We fear that our neighbors may be targeted. And that impact is never just on one person. The impact is on their family, their community, their workplace. And as enforcement grows, could impact huge sectors of our workforce and our ability to support one another in this stage. Massachusetts depends on the strength, the innovation, and the simple hard work of immigrants in so many areas. Immigrants are powering our dynamic STEM industries here in Massachusetts. Immigrants are keeping our nursing homes and our home care agencies alive to care for our parents and our grandparents. Immigrants own and operate so many of the small businesses that are critical to our main streets across the Commonwealth. We simply cannot afford to lose these businesses. We cannot afford to lose these leaders, these caregivers, these members of our communities. And so we're here today to call on you again, our state leaders, in this moment when our immigrant neighbors are under attack and living with so much fear. Let us show this country that Massachusetts is a state that welcomes immigrants. Let us stand up and say Massachusetts is a place where immigrants can come and find good work that utilizes the incredible skills that they already bring and the skills that you grow once that you're here. And let us simply say that Massachusetts is a place of secure home. And that all of this benefits our Commonwealth. This is a time for us to speak up boldly for our values and for what we know to be true in Massachusetts, that our Commonwealth benefits from the contributions of all immigrants. It's time to protect our immigrant communities. We're calling today for this State House to pass the Safe Communities Act. We need to detangle immigration enforcement from any part of public safety here in Massachusetts. And we're here today to call on the State House to pass the Immigrant Legal Defense Act. Let's ensure that those immigrants who are caught up in raids and deportation have a fair chance when they go to court with the help of paid counsel. We are here together to advocate for these bills and many more. And together we're here to say that immigrants are welcome in Massachusetts, that here immigrants can pursue the true, still American dream, and immigrants can create a home here in Massachusetts. Thank you all. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce an ally for immigrants and immigrant communities here in Massachusetts in our leadership. I'm delighted to welcome up to the stage the Secretary of Labor, Lauren Jones.
Good morning. Thank you, Liz, for that introduction and helping to kick off today's program. It's wonderful to be at the State House and to look around the Hall of Flags and to see this room so beautifully filled and even extending into other parts of the State House. So welcome to your State House and glad to have you here. I want to first start by extending my deepest gratitude to the MIRA Coalition and the incredible advocates, community leaders, policymakers that are in this room and beyond, who I know work so tirelessly to support our immigrant communities. Your dedication, your passion are essential to making Massachusetts a place where everyone, regardless of where they are born, has the opportunity to thrive. I had the opportunity to join MIRA just last June to honor Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, among other MIRA community champions. I know the LG would be here if she could. I was also reflecting a little bit coming into today's event and the times that we're in. And I thought about Frances Perkins. Frances Perkins, if you don't know, was born in Boston, raised in Worcester, and was appointed Secretary of Labor under FDR's presidency, marking her as the first woman to serve as a cabinet secretary. I bring this up because she was an advocate for immigrants, among many other contributions. As secretary, I often talk about and underscore how our people anchor our workforce. This people-centric approach was also emphasized by Secretary Perkins, who once stated, "The people are what matter to government, and a government should aim to give all the people under its jurisdiction the best possible life." Massachusetts has long been a beacon of opportunity, and our immigrant workforce is a cornerstone of our success, accounting for roughly 20% of our workforce statewide. That's in regions across the Commonwealth. We are home to one of the most highly skilled foreign-born workforces in the nation. In fact, 1 in 3 immigrants arriving or living in our state holds a bachelor's or advanced degree from abroad. This incredible talent enriches our communities, fuels our economy, and strengthens our competitiveness nationally and globally. I'll admit, as I said at the top, these are scary times, but let me be clear. When the Healey-Driscoll administration launched our workforce agenda a year ago this week, we underscored a core value statement that continues to be true. Massachusetts is an inclusive Commonwealth. The strategies we outlined then and continue to pursue now to lift up our untapped talent and meet the needs of employers in every region of the state continue to be true. And I want everyone here in this room to know that we will not waver from those core values. We know that the workforce challenges persist across all parts of the state, and creating pathways for immigrants is no exception. In fact, it's part of our workforce strategy. The Healey-Driscoll administration is committed to ensuring that every worker, regardless of their background, has a fair shot of success in Massachusetts. And our workforce agenda outlines a few key strategies to attract, retain, and develop a strong workforce, including efforts to break down barriers and that hinder employment. And I'll just take a moment to highlight a few notable things that we've been working on over the past year. We are focused on increasing resources to strengthen ESOL for work readiness. That is why the Healey-Driscoll administration has awarded $2 million through the Workforce Training Program, Workforce Training Fund, as we look back over the past 2 years, to deploy ESOL as a strategy to upskill existing workers so that they can be more productive, especially at small and mid-sized companies across the state. It's why we partner with organizations like English for New Bostonians to implement and scale ESOL for work strategies. It's why Governor Healy proposed $30 million in the supplemental budget filed in January to reach 10,000 English language learners. It's also why the Physician Pathways Act is an incredible, important policy that has the potential to truly change lives right here in Massachusetts. For those who don't know, this policy will help internationally trained doctors practice medicine here and increase access to health care to diverse populations in critical areas across the state while ensuring our immigrant workforce is fully engaged. This initiative was included in the Governor's Mass Leads Act, which the Governor signed with the support of the legislature in the end of the year, and it's exactly the type of bold action we need to address our workforce shortages while creating opportunities for immigrant professionals. HHS is hosting listening sessions and individual meetings as we speak on this very topic, and we look forward to implementing this initiative. We know we can make meaningful change here in Massachusetts. Just look at the efforts we have achieved in this past year through our workforce agenda. One of those areas includes our cross-secretariat effort to support job training and employment opportunities for our emergency assistance shelter residents, including immigrants and new arrivals, as well as Massachusetts residents. And we know that there are over 6,300 new immigrants who possess work authorizations in Massachusetts. By collaborating, we call it Team Massachusetts, right? We collaborated, broke down government silos by teaming up with our Mass Hire Department of Career Services, working with our career centers across the state, working closely with the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, working closely with the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, and I see Claudia from Ori is represented here. This was a team effort, and more than 4,800 current or exited EA shelter residents have secured employment in high demand occupations in healthcare, human services, senior care, and more. I've heard more often than not employers saying because of our intentionality, they are now able to have capacity to better serve people, to have a workforce that they can fully tap to meet their needs, especially for our mission-driven human services and healthcare organizations in Massachusetts. So, thank you. So as a team, the Healy-Driscoll administration recognizes that embracing skilled immigrants is a strategic imperative. Skilled immigrants bring diverse perspectives and innovative ideas and bolsters our businesses' competitive. How I started at the top, thinking about our people first. We can foster more inclusive workplaces, stimulate economic growth, and lay the groundwork for sustained prosperity for everyone. So please know, as you celebrate and continue to gather in the State House today and beyond, Governor Healy, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, and our administration values a diverse workforce, values your support, the work that you do, and values our immigrant community. It's part of the fabric that, simply put, makes Massachusetts great. Thank you.
Wow, can we give a big round of applause for Secretary Jones? Thank you. Before we move on to our next speaker, I just want to recognize a few folks in the room. Big applause for Representative Hong, who's in the room. And we also have ORI Director Christina Aguilera in the room. And shout out to Representative Garbrali, who's also in the room. Representative Sousa and Representative Mendez. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, House Representative and Leader Gonzalez.
Buenos dias, good morning. Shalom, salam alaikum. Welcome to the People's House, where the immigrants built it. The People's House. You know, we also got to recognize all those individuals that have come out to support the immigrant population that was here years ago 2 years ago, here today, and those that will come in the future. We have to recognize those that have made this event possible, because Immigrant Day is not only here in Massachusetts, it's around the country and it's around the world. Immigrants contribute more than they take out. Immigrants is what makes America great. Immigrants are the ones that clean this building at evenings. Immigrants is what makes hotels continue to strive and drive the economy in Massachusetts. Where are our hotel owners coming out to support our immigrants? Immigrants are the ones that continue to make sure that hospitality operators continue to strive economically, because immigrants drive the hospitality industry. Where are our hospitality operators and owners? Immigrants provide to the tourism of Massachusetts millions and millions of working dollars that continue to strive on the economic success of Massachusetts. Immigrants is what makes Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft, and all the other app-based businesses continue to strive and drive economically. Where are they to support? Corporations, where are you? Starbucks, McDonald's, Taco Bell, and all those. Immigrants is what drive the working class people and those groups of operators. And in these dark days, let us not forget that they are going after our bargaining rights. Unions recognize that. Come together. Because it doesn't matter if you're a working class family with a child in daycare or child care, or an immigrant, we are in this together. It's about us against them. It's about the working class against the oligarchs. It's against the millionaires against the working people here in Massachusetts and across this country. We must come together to support each other, because without us, there's no economic success of the United States of America. Together we can, together we will, because we ain't going back. We ain't going back. And I know in scripture that says that if they slap you on the left side, turn the other cheek. We ain't doing that no more. We're fighting. And forgive me, reverends and pastors, we ain't turning the other cheek, because we ain't going back. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. Immigrants matter. Immigrants are the success of Massachusetts, the United States of America, and we have demonstrated that for years and years and years. And now we stand here united, ready to fight. Thank you. How about that? Wow. Give it up for Leo Gonzalez. Thank you, thank you.
And I just want to remind folks that we do have an interpretation in Spanish, Ukrainian, and Haitian Creole. If you need interpretation, please, there's a table out here. Make sure you connect with someone. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome our next speaker. I hope he is here. Tree Tran, Director of Public Policy at Rosie's Place. There he is.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Tree Tran, and I'm the Director of Public Policy at Rosie's Place. I'm also honored to serve as the first chair of MIRA's Advisory Council. My friends, I'd like to start by actually acknowledging Liz Sweet, the entire MIRA staff, and my fellow members of the Advisory Council. It has been my honor to work with these incredible individuals. Their passion, compassion, and dedication are unmatched. The immigrant community here and across the country is lucky to have them fighting for us. Thank you, MIRA team. I admire you all, and I'm so humbled to work with you. Thank you for all you do. It is so inspiring to be in your company today. Whether an immigrant has been a neighbor, friend, relative, or coworker that has made an impact on your life. or whether you're an immigrant yourself who has overcome extraordinary obstacles to be here today. I know we are all here because we care about immigrants. We know our community and our Commonwealth and our country are all made richer and stronger by immigrants. We want dignity, opportunity, and welcome for them, and we will make sure they receive it. In my life, I've seen firsthand that's what we do here in Boston and in Massachusetts. We step up, we speak up, and we help out. That's what good people do. Here in Boston, we recognize and celebrate the many social, economic, and cultural contributions immigrants make to our city. And we're really proud of our mayor, who has the courage of her convictions to go to Washington, D.C. and fight for immigrants. Thank you, Mayor Wolf. Almost 50 years ago, my parents were forced to leave a land they loved, the only home they had ever known. There was war and the grave pain and suffering that comes with it. My dad, a South Vietnamese soldier, had been wounded in action during the Vietnam War, but he was lucky to get a job working for the United States government. On the night of April 29th, 1975, he was able to get his younger siblings and my mom, as she clutched my older siblings in her arms, onto a helicopter at the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, as the North Vietnamese continued southward. They were airlifted to safety onto a carrier off the coast of Vietnam. My dad, still hoping he could board a helicopter when they actually stopped arriving, was still hoping to board a helicopter when they stopped arriving. Desperate, he used the English he learned in his home village to plead with the U.S. ambassador on behalf of the hundreds of fellow Sudanese at the embassy's gate to send more helicopters to evacuate the crowd. In the early morning hours of April 30th, his prayers were answered. Safe aboard a crowded helicopter, he watched his homeland fade into the horizon as he flew into the uncertainty of making a new home. Ultimately, it was America and Boston that would welcome my family and give us a chance to dream and build new lives for ourselves and to help other immigrants do the same. To the immigrants here today and around the Commonwealth, I have a message for you. Despite everything going on in Washington, I want you to know this. You are seen, you are heard, you are understood, you are loved, and you belong here. Everyone here today has your back. Don't give up the fight. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tree. Can we give it up for Tree? Talking about showing up, bad guy always shows up. So thank you, Tree, for having our back. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Patricia Sobavaro, the Executive Director of Agencia Alpha. Patricia, come on up.
Did you just say 3 minutes? Oh dear, okay.
She called me out.
My first memory of witnessing an injustice was when I was 10 years old. I wanted to defend my 6-year-old cousin from the fists of her abusive stepfather. But I felt hopeless, I felt impotent, I was angry, but I felt that he had one over me. And every now and then I revisit that image of me trying to stand up to him. And I still ask myself, could I have done more? Could I have yelled at this man? Could I have asked for help? Could I have done more to protect her? And for the last 50-something days, as I wake up to the news, as you all wake up to these horrific executive orders breaking our families apart, understanding that there are children afraid that they're not going to see their mom and dad anymore. All I want to do is throw the covers back on my face and say, that's it. But I can't, right? We can't do that. And some of us may turn to poetry for healing. Some of us may turn to the music of Mercedes Sosa. Some of us may turn to the Word of God. And that's what I want to do right now, because it is exhausting. Let's be honest with each other. It's been devastating what we have been going through. Y quiero únicamente hablarle directamente a mis hermanos y mis hermanas inmigrantes. No estamos solos. No están solos. You're not alone. You are not alone. Y la palabra de Dios en Corinthians 4, 2 Corinthians 4 says in Spanish, pero tenemos este tesoro en vasos de barro, para que la excelencia del poder de Dios sea de Dios, no de nosotros. Estamos atribulados en todo, pero no angustiados. We're perplexed, right? But we're not anguished. Estamos en apuros, pero no estamos desesperados. And this verse reminds me of the challenge that I want to leave us all with. Yes, things are looking really bad right now. But I want to challenge you, and I want to challenge myself to think 5-10 years from now and ask yourself, could you have done more to protect the immigrant community? Could you have done more to protect the immigrant community from this bully, from this administration? The challenge right now is, if you are an organizer, can you do one more workshop? If you are a foundation or a funder, can you give a little bit more money to the MIRA coalitions of the world who are doing an amazing job? If you're a pastor or a reverend, can you do one more act of kindness? Can you talk to one more person? In a couple of minutes or an hour, we're going to go to these halls and we're going to be advocating for the Immigrant Defense League Fund, right? Because our immigrant community needs those lawyers. We need the Safe Communities Act, like Liz said, to disentangle eyes from public safety. We need to advocate for dignity, not deportations. But I'm going to ask all of us right now, can our immigrant community count with us? Can we do more? Can you all stand up for me and answer this question, please? I'm going to ask you a question, and only if you believe it in your heart, I want you to say, yes, we can. All right? On the count of 3, I'm going to ask you a question. We're going to say, yes, we can in English, and then we're going to say it in Spanish. Can we fight and win this battle? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. These elected officials need to hear you. I want to see these buildings shake. So can we win this battle? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. ¿Podemos ganar la batalla? Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Thank you.
Can we give it up for Patricia? Thank you for that reminder. Just as Patricia said, at 12 o'clock, we will be going to meet with legislators. So at 12 o'clock, I will ask you to find, our staff will be holding sign and direct you exactly to where to go meet with legislators. So bear with us. And now, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Suyan Amaral. Suyan has a story that she would love to share. Not an easy story, but we are grateful that she's willing to share with us. Thank you, Suyan.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Thank you. I stand before you today, not just as a speaker, but as a wife, a mother, and a woman of faith who has experienced firsthand the pain of family separation at the hands of a broken immigration system. Just a short time ago, my husband, a hardworking man with no criminal record, was taken by ICE while simply going to work. In an instant, our family was torn apart. Our toddler, too young to understand, cried for her father night after night, asking when he would come home. How do you explain to a child that her father is gone not because he did something wrong, but because of a system that refuses to recognize his humanity? The days that followed were some of the hardest days of our lives. The uncertainty, the fear, and the deep pain of separation weighed heavily in our hearts. And yet, in the midst of our darkest hour, we were not alone. Our faith in God carried us through. The prayers of strangers, the kindness of our community, the generosity of those who donated to help us, and the weaving support of our attorney Celadon gave us strength. It was in those moments that we truly saw the power of love, faith, and unity. Now, our story is not unique. It's the story of thousands of families who live in fear every day. Families who love this country, work hard, pay taxes, and contribute in every way to the fabric of this nation. Families who, like mine, simply want a chance to stay together in this country. I came to this country when I was 12 years old, and I am a DACA recipient. My husband and I are ministers of the Word of God, and we travel from church to church, spreading hope, worshiping, and reminding people that even in the darkest times, there is light. We're not criminals, we're not burdens, we're believers in the American dream. This country was built and continues to be built by the hand of work of immigrants. We're teachers, nurses, small business owners, laborers, and yes, we're ministers too. We love this nation and for its values and opportunities, but love should not come at the cost of separation of families. That is why I stand before you today pleading not just for my family, but for all the families like mine. We need real, humane immigration reform. We need policies that recognize the dignity and contributions of immigrants. We need lawmakers with the courage to fight for a chance to stand up for families. To stand up for justice and to ensure that no child has to cry themselves to sleep wondering when they will see their parents again. And so, I want to take a moment and give my heartfelt thanks to Senator Jamie, who has been incredibly supportive to us along this process. And your support does not go unnoticed. We see it, we appreciate it, and we need more leaders like him in our platform to support us, to support immigrants who daily work hard and build for this country. And lastly, I believe in the power of prayer, I believe in the power of community, and I believe in the power of those in this room to make a difference. Let us not look away, let us not delay. The time for action is now. Luke 1:37 says, "For God, nothing is impossible." So thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Wow, again, I know that was not easy to share, but we certainly appreciate Suyan for sharing her story with us. So can we please give her a big round of applause? Thank you, Suyan. Thank you. And our next speaker I feel like he was already introduced, and so I would like to call on stage Senator Eldridge from Marlborough. Senator Eldridge.
Thank you so much. It is so amazing to see so many people here. We have twice the turnout of last year's Immigrant Communities Day. Thank you so much for coming. Give yourself a hand. The last time I saw Suyani, it was in the law office of LOS Saladon in Marlborough, eagerly waiting and desperately waiting for her husband to release from the Texas ICE facility. And it's wonderful to finally meet Lucas today, constituents of mine from Marlborough. And what I want to say is that whether it is undocumented immigrants, whether it is TPS holders, whether it is now green card holders, what we know is that the Trump-Vance administration is launching an all-out assault on all immigrants. And so that's why it's so important that you're here today to stand up for Massachusetts values. So I want to thank you for being here. And what I want to say is that more than ever before, as the Senate sponsor of the Safe Communities Act going back to 2017, we need to pass the Safe Communities Act. Because if we have ICE agents, like they did in my city, pulling people over based on their profile, whether we have constituents like Doris Landaverdi, an amazing union organizer for SEIU, having her TPS status revoked, whether we're talking about the German immigrant Fabian Schmidt, who without any explanation was arrested and detained at Logan Airport, we know this assault is happening. And what we need to make sure is that our law enforcement, our court officials, the general public has the support and is supporting our immigrant communities. And so what the Safe Communities Act would do would make sure that police officers are not asking for the immigration status for immigrants. Making sure the immigrants know their basic right to hire an attorney if they're detained by ICE. And making sure that not one taxpayer dollar of Massachusetts taxpayers is being used for mass deportation in America. So we know what we're up against. I know it's a very dark moment, but I just want to say this morning, when I arrived early here at the State House, speaking to the resilience of immigrants, is that the first organizers here to set this up here at Great Hall were immigrants and staff of MIRA, making sure everyone could be welcomed here, showing that resilience, showing that persistence that is such a special part of Massachusetts. So I want to thank MIRA for their incredible work, from Liz Sweet to Amy Grunder to Mariana Dutra to all the amazing staff. And it's an honor to speak here before you today. Let's keep up the fight and let's pass the Safe Communities Act this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Eldridge, for being a true champion. We certainly appreciate you and your leadership. And now, it is my pleasure to welcome our next speaker. If you were at the conference yesterday, then you heard her speak. And so I would love to welcome to the stage Darlene Joseph.
Honneur? Okay. For my non-Haitians in here, when I say honneur, I need you to say respect. Honneur? Respect. Honneur? Respect. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, MIRA, for making sure that the voices of impacted people are heard in this space, in these walls, so that the elected officials can hear the demands of the community. We need more. Here from Massachusetts to DC to California to New York, we have to make sure that the people in power hear our voices. We will no longer be silenced. Our lives are on the line. My name is Gordon Joseph, and I am the co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance. We are a Black-led, woman-led, Haitian-American-led immigration, human rights advocate groups that when we show up, we don't show up just for Haitians, but we show up for everyone. Under the banner of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, we have the Black Immigrants Bell Fund, the Cameroon Advocacy Network, the CUSP that really centers the voices of the people we fight with and for every day. For those of us who stand every day asking what you have done during the slavery era, what you have done during the civil rights movement in the state, now is your time to do what you thought that you could have done back then. Unfortunately, in 2025, we find ourselves fighting for basic dignity of people, of all peoples. We honor the native people of these lands who made sure that we continue to survive. Those who were brought here on slave ships, we honor them for joining the forces and for joining the fight. We honor Harriet Tubman. We honor those who are here today. So the question continues to be, what are you doing today? This is a call for unity, a call for human lives, a call for Lucas' family. People are being kidnapped in the streets today. People are being kidnapped while they're going to school today. People are being attacked in the worship walls today. Whether you are black, brown, gray, green, today is the call for us to be together. Today is the time for us to look in our rearview mirror to see, who am I seeing? If when I look in my mirror, I don't see you, therefore I do not see me. So make sure that every day, with every breath in your body, that God has allowed us to be here for such a time as this. So we are calling on all of us to understand that they came for Lucas, they will come for you, they will come for me. And if we allow the powers to continue to erode the very fabric of what we thrive to be, we don't know in 4 years if there will be anything left for us to fix. So today, like our ancestors, like Harriet Tubman, this is the time to build above ground. It is the time to break down the walls and build bridges. It is the time to say no more. It is the time to say not in our names. Now, As we will walk into those walls, make sure your voices are heard by every single elected officials. Make sure they take your concerns here and bring it to Washington, D.C. Make sure that the federal elected people in Congress understand that today in Massachusetts, we say no more. And let immigrants around the country understand that today we stand with them, for them, we see them, we feel them, we are them.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you to say one more thing in the language of freedom and liberation. As a proud Haitian American, I will be amiss not to make you say, "Un pile me, chai palou." Please repeat after me. Un pile me, un pile me. It simply means many hands lighten the load. It takes my hand with your hand to make sure we change what we are seeing today. It is our responsibility to say no more. Silence is not an option. Thank you so much.
Can we please give a big round of applause for Gillian? Thank you, Gillian. And now I just want to recognize a few folks in the room, Representative Laura and Representative Cruz, who is actually the House leader and the sponsor of the Safe Community Act. And Representative, I'm sorry I will say this wrong, Underhoven. Underhoven, yes. And Representative Magro. Thank you. And now, Representative Davis is also in the house. Thank you. And anyone that I'm missing, thank you for being here. All right, and now it is my pleasure to call to the stage our last speaker, who is also a champion of our issues, Senator Adam Gomez of Springfield.
How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? That's how I like it. We're going to be loud and proud today, aren't we? Immigrants, we get the job done. I'm going to speak about a piece of policy that I was able to file off the leadership of MIRA, and then I'm going to give you some action steps. I want to give my regrets on behalf of Senator Liz Miranda that could not be here. She's here with us in spirit. She's preoccupied doing something that for some reason an airplane didn't get here at the same time it was supposed to. So she extends her apologies. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. It is an honor to be here with MIRA and my colleagues and my friends, Senator Eldridge, and also with the rest of our friends that are out here in the crowd. In these challenging times, when our communities are under threat from divisive rhetoric and policies that seek to sow fear among our residents, it is more important than ever that we affirm our commitment to inclusivity and compassion. Massachusetts has always been a Commonwealth that embraces diversity, fosters resilience, and supports those who seek refuge and opportunity within our borders. I am beyond proud to partner with MIRA and my House colleagues, Representative Rogers, as the Senate sponsor of the Immigrant Legal Defense Act. Our communities are facing unprecedented challenges, and we must establish a united front to provide some of our most vulnerable residents with the protections and the tools they need to face the threat of detention and deportation. Legal representation can often make all the difference in immigration court. Detained immigrants with a lawyer are 10 times more likely to win their case than those without legal representation. Still, despite this, in Massachusetts, more than half of immigrants with pending cases are navigating their proceedings without a lawyer. This bill will secure state funding for legal services to represent Massachusetts residents who are at risk of deportation despite their dedication and participation to the communities we are all proud to call home. It would create a public and private funded program to provide no-cost immigrant legal defense, especially those held in federal immigration detention. With the federal administration committed to mass detention and deportations of immigrants and a new Congress actively stripping away existing rights and privileges, the Commonwealth must urgently intervene to prevent these deportations of immigrants who live and work and pay taxes here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Distinguished guests, fellow lawmakers, and cherished members of our community, today as we gather to celebrate Immigrants Day here at the Massachusetts State House, we stand united in recognition of the invaluable contributions that immigrants make to our society. This day is not just a celebration. It is a call to action. It is a call to honor the sacrifices, the resilience, the dreams of millions and upon millions who have sought a better life in our great state and our country that we call home. Let us take this moment to acknowledge the tireless efforts of those who have paved the way for immigrant rights. Activists like Elizabeth Martinez, whose unwavering commitment to social justice has inspired countless individuals to stand against injustices. She truly embodies the spirit of activism that fuels our movement for equality. We also remember figures like Toribio Velez and the late Jorge Steven Lopez Mercado, whose stories remind us of the urgency in which we must advocate for change. Across the nation, we see impacts of their work, their courage, their determination that have planted seeds of hope in all of our communities here in the Commonwealth, challenging the oppressive systems and the dismantling respect of human dignity. It is because of their efforts that we are able to engage those discussions today, yet the journey is far from over. I have some action steps for our community that stands with our immigrants. Support policies that protest immigrant rights at the local, the state, and the national level. Education. Promote awareness and understanding of immigrant issues within our schools and our communities. Knowledge is power, and by educating ourselves and others, we can dismantle stereotypical and build stereotypical racist rhetoric and build sustainable bridges. We need community support. We need to engage with our local immigrant communities, listen to their stories, understand their struggles, and you need to offer your support, whether through volunteering or simply lending an ear. Every little small action is a work of kindness, the work of God, and we can build a stronger and more inclusive society. Coalition building. Look next to you. Look around. Look at what this coalition has built, and think about who's not here that needs to be here. This amplifies our voices and strengthens our resolve. We need to speak out at every single step of the way. This is not the right time or the moment to stand on the sidelines. And as we move forward from this gathering, let us carry the torch lit by those who came before us, and the torch of hope, justice, solidarity. Together we can create a Massachusetts where all people, regardless of their origin, are treated with dignity and respect. Thank you for all of your commitment to this cause. Thank you for standing with our immigrant communities. Thank you for believing that together we can forge a brighter future for all. I'm going to ask you all one last thing. Your left fist, please put it in the air for immigrant rights. Sí se puede. Sí se puede. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Sí se puede. God bless you all. And with that left hand, knock on every single legislator's door and make sure that they know our names. Immigrants, we get the job done.
Can we give one more big round of applause for Senator Gomez? All right, so it is time for us to go and talk with legislators. But before we do that, I want to ask, if you are an immigrant, proud immigrant, I want to hear you say, I am here. I am here. If you believe in dignity and diversity, say, I am here. I want to hear you say it louder. I am an immigrant and I'm here to stay. All right. Now, it is time to get to work. So right now, it is time for us to go and talk to legislators. We have volunteers and MIRA staff around, should be going around with signs. So look for MIRA staff or volunteer holding a sign. Make sure you know who your legislators are. But these folks, volunteer, will help you find the room to meet with your legislators. So please start gathering out in the hallway. Find someone holding a sign who will help you find the room to meet with your legislator. Thank you all so much. Again, this is the biggest immigrant day at the State House we've had, and it cannot be possible without all of you. So thank you all so much. And now let's get to work. Let's go.